Hi everybody and welcome to the video and live streaming show. My name's John Lacey and I'm joined as always by Sam Proof. Today on the show we're talking all things holiday content and holiday video and streaming. And we're going to talk about, what you might want to consider if you're a consumer or if you're a business person, and some of the content you might want to think about making at this time of year. But we are going out live to all the various places, and let us know in the chat where you're watching from. If you want to do the hashtag Team Live, it would make my life complete. I don't know about Sam, but I would enjoy it. And Saeed is saying hello from Germany. Hello, Saeed. Thanks for joining us. But Sam, how are you doing? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's good. We're getting ready for the big holiday week, the first big holiday week, as the kids have off the entirety of all next week. Amanda has off 3 out of the 5 days, so it's gonna be a lot of home stuff happening, I guess. Plus, Amanda's school, her job does like an annual Vittles dinner pre-Thanksgiving, so that's always a highlight of the year because we pretty much just look at that as like our Thanksgiving dinner, and then just on Thanksgiving we just have leftovers. But yeah, and then also I just got my first. This is big news for me, personal milestone. I got my first retainer gig with all of the UGC work that I've been doing. I got my first company to lock me into a retainer, so that's an entire month, if not more, of content that I'll be pumping out for. You'll see. Anyway.
Nice. Obviously Saeed is in the audience, as he always is, which is lovely. But I just wanted to, and I'm sort of improvising a little bit, so just bear with me for a second while I do this. But I just wanted to say that he gave me a bit of a stream deck session with a whole bunch of tips. And one of the things that I've done is I completely made over the buttons for this particular show. So you can see on the left, so I never really style my buttons. That's a personal flaw. But on the right hand side, you can see that I've got a whole bunch of different colors, and I've got the artwork for Cute Avalanche and Build a Presentation Muscle and all that fun stuff. So that was really, really cool. Let me just get out of studio mode while I do that. But yeah, that was really awesome. It was great to hang out with Saeed. And I guess, obviously, at this time of year, and I should say too, Thanksgiving's not a thing in Australia. So I'm always quite fascinated to hear about it, because in some ways it would be like having a Christmas in November and a Christmas in December. And to be honest, as an introvert, one Christmas a year is plenty for me. But we are obviously getting into sort of that Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, where there are lots and lots of deals out there. Says congratulations as well.
Thank you.
So I was curious, and we'll give our public service announcement about that in a second, probably, which we do every year. But I'm just curious, were there any sort of deals that have caught your attention during this week, or anything that you're maybe considering?
Yeah, I've been so busy with other stuff that I haven't. Like, I've been so busy trying to get Cute Avalanche ready for its own Black Friday, which I never pump out new merch, and I never like promote that merch that we have. So I'm actually trying to do what I can this year to actually be on that side of it, that I have not paid a whole hell of a lot of attention to what's really out there as far as deals and stuff. The one sort of thing that I'm like in the back of my head kind of looking for is, after the horrible thing that happened in May, my DSLR did not make it. So I'm not like the lenses seem okay, and technically I think it turns on, but the screens don't work. And I'm like, I don't know, is it worth it to get this 15-year-old camera fixed, or do I start looking at other Canon DSLRs? So that's kind of what I'm looking at these days.
It's interesting. I've only owned one DLSR, and it was a Nikon one, and I think some moisture actually got into the sensor, and it actually produced like these really trippy photos with all of the colors and stuff. It was quite weird. Nice. But yeah, I must admit that would be really cool. Saeed writes that in Europe, Thanksgiving is Black Friday, and he wonders why there are no puns.
I mean, it wouldn't be Black Paw Day, it would be Black Fur Day, right?
Yeah, that's probably a better pun. And Business Growth Ready writes turkey time around most of the world over the coming weeks until Christmas. Very nice. So
Yeah.
I just want to touch on this really, really briefly, but the thing that I'm genuinely interested in is the Affinity app suite. So these are and this is kind of outside of the realm of video, so it's weird that I'm talking about this, but they have their photo editing, their layout design, and
Oh,
something else, and it's 50% off. It's a
yeah.
outright, so you get the designer, you get the photo, and then you get the publisher app. And the thing I said to Sam during the week, and this is literally true, and this is in Australian dollars. So this is $112.99 Australian. And I spend more money on takeaway food than this particular, like in a week, than this
Yeah.
particular app costs for a lifetime deal. And I don't want to harp on about this too much, but yeah, I think I've kind of, confessed that I'm trying to stay out of the Adobe ecosystem, and I kind of really like the things that Affinity are doing. And I say that as someone who's not like a professional graphic designer or anything, but there's a part of me that loves, especially the publisher. Like I'd love to do sort of an online magazine about some of the things that we talk about on this show.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've been looking at. The other thing is Restream. They're doing their deals at the moment, and
Yeah.
again, I think they've got 50% off if you purchase the annual plans. And and it's funny. I do like Restream, and we use it for this show. And a part of me is always like, I know there are different ways of sort of operating. And I'm forever wondering, like the whole multicasting thing is a question that we debate constantly. But I'm always like,
Sure.
should we do it? Should we just go to one destination and direct everybody there? It's always a bit of a dilemma. But that's the other thing that's sort of been in my mind. So I guess Sam, you already mentioned about the Cute Avalanche merchandise side of things.
Yeah.
So, do you have any sort of advice for people that might be wanting to actually sell stuff at this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, you've already have to have your designs done at this point. Like for Black Friday at least. If you haven't done anything for Christmas, this is the week to start doing the graphic design and the layout for those things. If you're going to use like a print on demand site, if you're the kind of person that does like a full order of stuff and you do your own fulfillment, then you're already too late for that as well. But yeah, I think this is the week to get going for print on demand stuff. Get all of the marketing for Black Friday set up by like midweek next week at the latest, and go forward with the Christmas stuff after that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I did think of one other thing that I might treat myself to, though I'm not aware if they actually have any Black Friday deals right now. But I'm this close to wanting to pull the trigger on going pro on CapCut. So
Hmm.
this might be it. If the deal is enticing enough, I might, for this specific gig that I might do it.
And just to counter that in the way that we often do, I did learn that apparently the paid version of DaVinci Resolve is actually on special in a way that it normally
Mm,
isn't. So I'm probably
all
not
right.
going to run out and purchase it, though. I think if I'm going to get the full version, I'm probably going to buy the speed editor and have that physical bit of hardware because it just looks really, really cool. So Said
Yes.
writes, I use a service to track Amazon prices, and it's clear that some prices are raised, then reduced with a Black Friday tag. Just saying,
Oh
watch
yeah,
out. Hello to our LinkedIn user. I don't know exactly who you are. I'm just coming up as LinkedIn
that is
user, but
Nathan.
some very
Oh, LinkedIn user. No, that's different.
yeah, some very festive things. And Nathan is roasting you about leaving things to the last minute and saying good luck.
I actually didn't leave things to the last minute. I'm telling other people not to. But
Hmm.
yes, Saeed, that is a really good point. If you have, there's a couple different things that do sort of that price tracking on Amazon, but Camel is the easiest one for me to remember. So that's the one I use. I believe they have a Chrome extension, or you can just put things into their website. Like you copy the URL of the thing you want, put it in, and it'll show you like a whatever the lifetime of that thing is and its prices, and you can be like, oh, so this isn't really on sale at all, or actually it's a good deal. So yeah, check that out for sure.
Nice. Yeah, so hello to Nathan as well, saying hello, Sam and John. Great to have your company today. So I'm kind of just curious, and I don't know, I probably shouldn't be looking this up in real time, but I was trying to see if CapCut actually did have some sort of holiday sale, but I'm not seeing anything on their front page. So I don't know, maybe
Yeah, I
it's
was looking
buried
for it
somewhere.
too, and I'm sure if I open CapCut, it would tell me, but I also don't want to risk crashing anything
Sure.
else.
Yep, that makes total sense. So, and incidentally, I would be really curious to hear from the audience if there are any things on your wish list that maybe you might be treating yourself to for either Black Friday or Christmas. And I happen to have some insight into at least one person in the audience what they might be purchasing. But let us know. We'd love
Yeah.
to hear about that. So yeah, it is really like I guess the flip side of all this though is there are so many shiny promotional marketing messages out there right now. It can be really easy to get seduced into spending way too much money and buying things that maybe you don't want. And I Tanya Smith, we sort of joke about AppSumo's Anonymous, because there are certain people that just have to purchase everything that's put in front of them, and I think that can be a bit of a problem. I think you've got
Sure.
to really take a step back and work out if you need something or if you want something, and like what kind of features are you actually looking for, and what's sort of good enough. And it's really important that that you don't sort of get too swept up in that, because and the thing that we say about audio and video gear generally is like, don't go into debt for it. Don't
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
don't go
You don't
hungry.
Yeah, you don't need anything. If you've got any camera and any mic, it's good enough to start, right? Like worry about the craft, worry about the product and building the habits and just getting the thing done before you like spend money on improving and the quality and stuff. Like you don't want to buy $10,000 worth of really awesome equipment and 2 months in find out that hey, I don't actually like doing this.
Mm, absolutely, yeah. And that's because I think sometimes it can look really fun and exciting, but
Yeah.
even this show, like the little bit of work that we put into it is still a lot of work. And I was saying to Saeed
Yes.
before we went live this morning that I keep forgetting that we actually had a show in 38 minutes and I needed to get organized and set up all the various things and make sure that was actually ready. So, I mean, it's great and the flip side of this, I suppose, is if you do have the money and you do like, if it does spark joy and you can afford it, then go for it.
Yeah. Do it.
Saeed, and I kind of already knew this, but for the benefit of everybody else, so Saeed is looking to purchase the prompter as a bundle from Elgato
Ooh,
directly,
yeah.
because apparently they're doing some special pricing on their website. And he writes, so the
Nice.
prompter, the wave arm, low
Yep.
profile, the key light mini, and the cold shoe for £284. I'm thinking that is
Nice.
that pounds or euros? I don't
I
know
think
my
that's
European
euros.
currencies. I'm sure he'll clarify at some point. Anyway, look it up in your own prices. That's another way of doing it. Um, Nathan is saying I'm going to max out my credit card at JB Hi-Fi on Black Friday. They have some great deals. Is Nathan Australian?
All right. No, I think he just looked that up.
Oh,
He
okay.
Googled that to be part of the cool kids. At least I don't think so. In all of the years that I've known him, I've never really known where he is, but I don't think he's Australian.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's interesting. That's definitely a shop I've purchased a lot of things. Okay, so you're saying no, I have friends that live in Australia. Okay,
Nice, nice.
cool. And Said makes the point that the prompter alone is that price when it's not on sale. So
Oh yeah,
that's, yep.
sure.
There we go.
Yeah,
Here's a tip for us. If it looks like an E, it's euro. Okay, that's great to know.
there you go.
All right, so we're going to go and we'll come back and talk about some more considerations that you might want to think about in terms of producing some holiday content. This is the Video and Live Streaming Show.
We are constantly training our cats every interaction that we have with them.
Mm-hmm.
So when Johan would get on my counter before, this is 10 years ago, before I was the cat expert that I am now, Johan would jump on the counter. What was the first thing I did? I'd say his name, Johan. Well, he loves that. That's a reward for him. He said,
Mm-hmm.
you just said my name. I would go over to him and I'd talk to him and be like, you can't be on the counter. Johan loves when I talk to him. Ding, that's another reward for Johan. I'd pick him up and put him on the ground, but I didn't want him to think I was mad at him. So when I'd pick him up very nicely and kiss him on the head and say, I love you, but you can't be here. I'd put him on the ground. I had just done 3 things that rewarded him for being on the counter. So I was encouraging him to continue doing that.
And that's a promo for Sam's podcast, Just Getting Around, which you can learn more about over at cuteavalanche.com. This is the video and live streaming show. Today we're talking about holiday content as we sort of gear up towards Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. I don't know where the year's gone. In some ways it's been very long, in other ways it's been very quick. But, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, as we sort of get to the pointy end of the year, as I affectionately refer to it, we're sort of thinking about, you know, what are some of the opportunities in terms of actually creating content that incorporates the holidays, whether that makes sense for you. And I guess, Sam, maybe that's where we should start. Like, when does it make sense to make holiday-related content? And I guess the thing that I'm forever banging on about is the need for perennial content. And obviously, there's a very small window in a given year that maybe Christmas content, for example, would be relevant. And I was almost going to say the name of the device, but I won't. But I know that at one point you were making a lot of short form content about Amazon's voice in a box type system that was related to Christmas. So I guess let's just start with that. So when do you think it would be appropriate? When do you think you should just stick to your lane and do the same things as normal?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously this is contingent on you actually have something that you can apply that to. Like, it makes sense for your niche, it makes sense for your products, whatever it is. But, you know, traditionally, at least in America, you will start to see, you know, TV ads for Christmas related ads as soon as Halloween is over, and some stores before that, and how dare they. But yeah, it's go time right now. So, like, you know, it's as far as making the video content or even live streams, yeah, I think you can start as soon as Halloween is over. If it's something that you're finding iffy with your own niche and you don't want to overdo it, you don't want to burn yourself out on that and recreate that character from Only Murders in the Building, who has to do Christmas all year round, then maybe you space it out. Maybe you start after Thanksgiving, after Black Friday, if you think you're only going to do a little bit here and there. But yeah, I think that's basically the timeline. You know, one of the things that kind of happens traditionally on YouTube, I think it's a little less than it used to be, but there used to be this sort of wave of daily content creation called Vlogmas, which was, you know, whatever niche, it didn't matter. It was open to everyone. It's really just kind of like a 30-day, 31-day challenge to put out a new video every day. Or maybe it was a 25-day challenge to do like first of the month through Christmas. I haven't done it in so long, I don't remember. And honestly, if that's as, you know, tied into Christmas as you can get your channel, I think it's a great motivator for smaller channels just to kind of set a goal for themselves to like push out 25 days of content and just do a daily thing, so that you're not falling into that perfectionist mode of like, I'm going to make this the best Mr. Beast video I can make, even though I have $10 to my name, you know? So just, you know, get on board something like that, maybe.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, and I guess if we think in terms of different content types, like short form video, generally those vertical things have a shorter lifespan anyway. So maybe if you did want to do something that's quite timely, that would be the format to explore. But I think you've mentioned in previous episodes that every now and then some of that Halloween or Christmas content will have a bit of a revival on TikTok, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen the aforementioned device videos come back around. I did a bunch for Halloween specifically that show up, you know, annually now. They don't get tons of more, you know, new views, but they they come back for sure. And I think maybe on a channel that just is more active, it might do better. But yeah, my personal channel is very sporadic and not consistent whatsoever. But a channel like Cute Avalanche with holiday style cat videos might might see those videos come back around next year if I start pumping them out right now, which we will see. But yeah, Cute Avalanche does sometimes multiple videos a day, but at least one daily video. So, and they're usually shorts. So we'll see what happens with that.
Saeed
yeah,
notes that videos of cats
There's
sitting in
that.
Christmas trees always work.
Yep. Nara is very, vocal about this one. She agrees.
And Saeed also writes, I think just chilling and hanging out with your audience could be great for live streams. Cozy end of year vibes.
Yeah, for sure. So it's an interesting thing because seasonally, as a streamer, you see a lot of like patterns of like when things pop off, when there's a lot of like things that die out. Like the beginning of summer, you're going to lose a lot of viewers to people actually going outside, despite what adults say while they shake their fist. But this part of the season, everyone's off of school, it's cold, they want to stay inside, but at the same time, they don't want to stay inside and hang out with their family. And on top of that, there aren't as many streamers streaming. Like a lot of streamers will take time off to go spend time with their family. So there's less competition and there's more viewers. So I think it is a really good time to be a streamer and to do streams as often as possible.
All right, let me just contradict everything Sam just said, because obviously in different parts of the world, like we're literally in summer here, so we're going to have a hot Christmas. But that's the thing, though. Some people will have more spare time. Some people will have less spare time. And you're often kind of appealing to audiences that might have been too busy during the year. And especially for, like I said, a lot of audio podcasts re-release some of their better episodes over this period because... I mean, sometimes people just have new Bluetooth headphones and new phones, and they're looking for content to enjoy. But also, sometimes you're just too busy to enjoy something. Sometimes it's a great opportunity to serve something up a second or third time that, maybe they did enjoy, maybe they will find useful, and they just want to revisit it. So it's one of those things. And I know people tend to talk in... absolutes at times, but I mean, different people need different things. But I guess the other thing that jumped out at me was you mentioned hanging out with the holiday, with the family in the holidays. A lot of introverts out there are probably wanting to nope out of those situations and just find a quiet corner and watch something or listen to something. So you can definitely appeal to those as well. Nathan writes, I enjoyed Kid Avalanche's holiday decor. You even got an ornament if you donated. Yes, that is true. Tell us about that, Sam.
And I think we should save this for when we talk about streaming, or I guess we're just going to go free flow, unless you want to. I don't know. It's your call. But yeah, let's just talk about stuff. It's right. So every year we put a digital frame around the border of our video, and there's kind of a mortise, so the video comes in kind of left of frame center, and then around it, it's decorated with these digital ornaments. And as people come in and donate via bits, they can take over those ornaments with their user profiles, their avatars. But also on the right side of the screen, we have a Catmas tree, which is a tree with kind of a face, donated to us by Insomnia Doodles, who drew that. And then whenever they do certain emojis in the chat, the face on the tree reacts to mimic those emojis. You can, there you go. You can also change the topper of the tree. So there's like a cat in the example that John is showing, but you can switch it to be like a bell or a bow or a Santa hat, things like that. And then there's lights and garland or tinsel on the tree, and you can change the color of those through our channel point rewards. And John's scrolling through all those things now. So there's some of the toppers. There's actually 5 different cats. Actually, I think there's 6 now, because we had a special treat, which was Insomnia donated herself yet again to draw custom cats based on people's cats if they donated. I think it was $50. And one person did take us up on that. So you can find Little Miss Gloom Doom's cat, whose name is escaping me right now because Amanda just walked through. But I'm not sure we're going to be doing that again this year, because I think Insomnia lost her or has not kept up her Photoshop license. So I don't think she can work off the originals. But yeah,
I mean, there's probably ways of doing that actually. So anyway, I might
probably
touch base with her if And Nathan says this, which is a lovely sentiment. Hopefully Sam and Amanda get their old house back.
That would be nice.
All right, cool. All right, I'm just gonna throw that link into the Learn Live Streaming channel. So if anyone wants to look at that page, and again, I know given everything that's happened this year, probably won't happen, I'm guessing, this year, but it's a really cool case study, I think, in some of the really fun interactive stuff that is possible. And I guess next week on the show, we're talking about the Mix It Up chatbot as well. Yeah. So it might even be a great opportunity to revisit that as well. So let's go do it. Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, totally. We can look at that and how I did some of those things in Mix It Up next week. But also the frame will be happening. It's just going to be a playlist on the inside, and it just might not be as interactive as it was previously. But for the most part, yeah, it will be. So, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And I mean, that would be a really good thing to sort of unpack a little bit more in next week's show. So, Okay. Nathan says, shout out to Microsoft for finally having an option for people to buy Office without a subscription. I think they've had that actually for a number of years. It just depends on how you do it. But yeah, I mean, subscriptions, like there are some companies that I love and I just want to support on an ongoing basis. But for the most part, I really prefer to just buy things outright. And sometimes that works out well. Sometimes that's a bit of a problem. Yeah. But you know, you've got to consider what's right for you. But we're going to go and we'll come back and talk about this some more in just a moment. This is the Video and Live Streaming Show.
Hi, I'm John Lacey, and in Build a Presentation Muscle, I want to talk about finding your voice, refining and sharing your message, using tools and technology to share that message, and looking after yourself as a creator.
And that's a promo for my podcast, Build a Presentation Muscle, the podcast about showcasing your expertise through content creation, which you can learn more about over at johnlacey.com. But this is the Video and Live Streaming Show. Today on the show, we're talking about, you know, Christmas, holiday season, all the fun content creation opportunities that are available to you. I know we have spoken a little bit about holiday streaming, but I think let's dig into it a little bit further. And that's a great question, Nathan, and I will come back to that in a second. So in terms of, you know, actually, I think, you know, introducing the fun aspect of the holidays, the embellishments, the music, the sound effects, the graphical overlays. I know this is an area that Said sort of explores quite a lot, even though he's not generally streaming to the world so much as a Zoom meeting. But what do you recommend in terms of actually sort of thinking about incorporating some festive elements into your streams?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good chance. It's a good opportunity to just kind of go all out. Like if that's in you, if that's your personality, if that's something you want to take on, then like throw the lights up, get a tree just for your stream, get the costume, like, you know, whatever it is. If you're doing like a Twitch stream, or even now YouTube has it, you update your emojis so that you have some holiday themed emojis, and get those overlays. Like I think go crazy with it, because anything that makes you stand out is, you know, fun and different, and it has that sort of limited time. Like everyone knows that there is an immediate timer on this thing, right? So it's only going to last as long as it's going to last. You know, and I think it's a super fun, you know, way to break up the monotony of anything you're doing, whether it's, doing a tech podcast or playing Fortnite on stream. Like there's, something there.
Absolutely. And it's funny, I've got the Rodecaster Pro, the original version, and it comes with its own little built-in sound pad with buttons. And I've had some festive music on this for a number of years, and I was just trying to rack my brain a little bit to try to remember where this music came from, because I know it is sort of safe music for me to use, and it is actually in this instance, this is actually from the Elgato marketplace, a lot of this music.
Nice.
So if you've got a Stream Deck, you can sort of come in here and in fact, let me just show you over here. Let me drag this over where you can see it. So this is the Stream Deck software. If you click on this button up here, it says go to Elgato marketplace. We've got the audio section. There's literally a category here in the genre for holidays and special events. So you can click on that one and it'll bring up a whole different things. I think all of this music is free to use. And occasionally, I guess what I have found is that sometimes it will be flagged with YouTube if they hear it in your YouTube video, but there won't be any sort of action, and you can actually sort of tell Elgato what the name of your channel is just to whitelist it. But essentially, this is a really easy way of working with this. And I guess, and I don't really have it to share today, and I kind of didn't want to share it today because a part of me thinks it's still probably a bit early for Christmas music, but there is kind of like hip hop versions of Christmas tunes and some quite modern stuff. And I think it's always fun if you can tap into tradition, but maybe put a new spin on it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's really good. As always, research the music you're going to use and the licenses and stuff and be careful. But yeah, like that's great. That's a great find.
And I'm just really intrigued, and I'm searching the rest of it. I mean, they've even got icon packs and screensavers and Adobe After Effects templates and alerts and all kinds of stuff. So I guess there are all kinds of content repositories and stuff, and I know there's subscriptions for different things. You can certainly explore those. I'm going to go back to Nathan's question from earlier. So he writes, do you know if Adobe allows you to buy their products outright, probably all subscription based now? So as far as I can tell, and I'm literally on their site right now, it looks like what you can subscribe to the Creative Cloud, or you can subscribe to individual apps, but it seems to all be on a monthly basis. And I'm trying not to hate on Adobe too much, but it's like 45 Australian dollars per month, and this is half price. This is a Black Friday sale, so that stuff gets very, very expensive very quickly. And like maybe if you are a professional in industry, that's not a big deal, and it is essentially a tax write-off for the most part. But I think I don't know that it's particularly reasonable for solo creators.
No, it's not. Like, I stopped having Adobe when I stopped working for, Bob Crush and other companies because I just wasn't going to pay that license. Like, I've bought the software 20 years ago. Not that I can still use that. But the whole subscription model on stuff like Photoshop and Premiere just kills it for people at this level.
Yeah, and to compare that with the $112 that I will pay for Affinity in the next week outright for as long as that version of that software exists, like it's. Admittedly, you do get a lot of other things in the Creative Cloud, but I don't know. I'm a little. I'm trying to stay out of that ecosystem, and I do actually have access to a lot of that stuff as part of my day job anyway. But I don't want to get too invested in there. But that's a rant for another time. Saeed writes, there's a limit to how much animation and sound the human brain can handle, but ugly Christmas sweaters, always a win. Again, because it'll be 40 degrees here in Australia, we won't be wearing any Christmas sweaters. I can assure you of that. And Saeed also writes,
get an ugly Christmas sweater T-shirt.
Yes. So Saeed writes, the official Christmas season starts the moment you hear Mariah Carey or Wham on the radio. From that point on, everything is allowed. I don't know how closely people pay attention to the Learn live streaming newsletter. In fact, I'm just going to I'll bring that up on screen as well. Where are we? Full screen. Okay, so like I wrote about this during the week, and I should hide the chat so you don't see any of the mischief that Sade and I get up to. But there's a link in here. It says "It's Time" that was buried in here, and it's literally a video of Mariah Carey impersonating the Addams Family and then morphing into Christmas with her a traditional Christmas message. It's kind of hilarious.
No.
So yeah, you can check that out if you want to do that later on. But it is one of those things, and I think like it can be fun to get into the festive mood, but I think also you don't want to peak too soon, because you know it's still a month away. So
I mean, yeah, you know, but here's the thing: is like, you know, if you want to get into it, you can start now. There's plenty of things you can be doing. You know, we talked about the Vlogmas thing, which got me thinking. Like, I have seen recently a bunch of people doing like advent calendars. Well, they'll open like one thing every day, and I had a friend that used to do that just on Instagram as like a picture, and I was like, I mean, that's a great thing. You could just do that. You know, that's right there, 25 days worth of streaming stuff to do. You can do the whole decorating of your space as a stream. You can do like a sing along, but be careful what music you're using.
Mhm.
You know, there's a ton of holiday movies. If you're doing like something like Twitch, you can use the I forget what they call it, like watch party. I think it's called watch party.
Yep.
We actually watch a Christmassy movie together. Again, you have to pay attention because that's not available for every movie for every country. So depending on your demographics and where your viewers are based, you might want to, you know, pick really carefully. You know, there's just a ton of different things you can do. It's also a really great time of year to do like a charity stream, which in what, a week and a half, we have Giving Tuesday, the oh, is that a week and a half or is that 2 weeks and a half? The Tuesday after Thanksgiving traditionally is Giving Tuesday, where you know, there's a big push for charities and nonprofits to like do a little something special. Kitten Rescue always does an annual clear out the shelter day where they get about 40 volunteer fosters or more to, you know, say before that Tuesday hits that they're going to take home fosters from whatever shelter, and they'll like isolate one particular Los Angeles shelter and clear it out. It's usually like 40 to 50 cats, just to help, you know, with the problem of overcrowding in the shelters and stuff like that. So there's a lot of charity things that can be done. If you want to get into charity streaming, there's a bunch of tools. Tiltify is probably the most popular and pronounced of those tools that will let you stream for, you know, a charity of your choice. But things like, I think Twitch and YouTube have built-in charity functions that you can do to raise money for charities you like. So that's always a good thing. And yeah, there's just, you know, if you want to go Christmas crazy, there's enough ideas to take you through the end of the year.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's a very good point. Nathan writes that he got Apple TV Plus based on Sam's recommendation. I can confirm he was right. It's good.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. It's the best.
It always pains me a little bit to give Apple my money, but I will say that my co-workers are obsessed with Ted Lasso, and they're very adamant that I watch it. So I might need to do that at some point.
Apple has done, even though their streaming network is like really, really small compared to all of the competition, the quality of the programming they're putting out is just the best. Like, I'm sure there's shows on there that are probably no good whatsoever, and I just haven't watched them. But like every time I go, oh, people are talking about this, and I go and I watch it, I'm like, yes, that was fantastic. You know, and it's like, yeah, Ted Lasso, Silo, I can't even think of the other stuff right now, but it's always very good. It's not enough stuff that I want to pay that monthly subscription. So maybe I pay 1 month, take a couple months off, come back to it. But yeah, I mean, you should be doing that with every streaming service. There's no way you're watching, you know, five services every month.
Yeah,
and there's no way you should be.
I need to be a bit careful about that too, because like a whole month will go by and I think I haven't watched anything at all. Said writes that we started selling Christmas cookies in German supermarkets already in mid-August. We have there's a bit of a running joke in Australia that we have these hot cross buns that come out for Easter, and they seriously bring them out sort of January 1st. When that's sort of 4 or 5 months too early. But anyway, that's a whole thing. I mean, people are always happy to sell you stuff any time of year.
Yeah.
And Business Growth Ready, this is really interesting, and I want to hear more about this. He writes, I only pay Adobe monthly for Dreamweaver, of all things. Moved fully to the Affinity Suite about 3 years ago on one Photo Raw 21 as a replacement for Lightroom. I mean, I'm definitely, like I keep saying this, but I am finally, after years of thinking about it, I'm definitely going to purchase the Affinity apps this time around. But I am kind of curious what you're doing with Dreamweaver, because that's a software I used to teach, and I probably wouldn't recommend most people use it these days. So I'd be curious about your use case for that one.
Yeah, I hated Dreamweaver something fierce. But I came at it from being one of those hand coders that did everything in HTML, and like it just broke my brain so much to try and make Dreamweaver do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah. And like I use sort of VS Code as my code editor, but it is strictly text stuff. So yeah, I mean, different people might need different things. And I guess especially if you've been using it for a long time, you might have a lot of Dreamweaver templates, and it could be a little bit challenging to port those unless you are a developer in your own right. Nathan writes, Silo is a great show. I enjoyed Disclaimer too.
Yeah, it's so
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess we've spoken a little bit about the live aspect of this, and I guess in previous years you've sort of even recommended just grabbing your phone and if you've got the signal to go look at different Christmas lights and displays and caroling and stuff. A part of me is always a little nervous about sharing too much about my location with the world, but there might be some privacy or copyright issues you need to think about, but I mean, otherwise it's a great idea.
Yeah. No, there's some really historic is not the word, but it's all I can think of. Popular destinations in Los Angeles that are known for having these really like outlandish Christmas displays, like entire blocks, not just like one row of houses, but entire blocks where people will drive from all over to go. And I'm like, you could do that, like something like that in your neighborhood or in your local area. But yes, I would not do a live stream from outside my house that walking around showing street signs. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Be safe.
It's funny. I took a photo on a walk recently of a kookaburra perched on a street sign, and it's such a great photo. And I kind of wanted to share it, but I thought the minute I do this, everyone's going to know how to find me. And I even played with, I think, Photoshop at one point to try and blur it out, but it just looked ridiculous. So I didn't do that in the end. But yeah, so I guess like there are all kinds of fun things, and a part of me almost wonders if we couldn't just if there's some sort of guest that we could pay to come on dressed up as Santa or something to entertain the stream. I think that would be fun. But I mean, getting back a little bit to, and this is just an example, I realize there are all kinds of other things out in the world, but again, just looking at these resources. So again, if you are a Stream Deck user, then we've got icon packs, we've got event lists. I don't even know what an event list is. Maybe I can have a look at that in a second. Screensavers, if you want the holiday sweater on your Stream Deck, that's apparently an option as well.
Nice.
It's worth noting that some of these things are free and some of them are paid, so just check carefully before you do that. Stream alerts, and again, I'm not sure how that would work exactly, and maybe Sam can unpack that for us next week as part of the Mix It Up stuff. But I mean, a lot of those are free and they have different things that pop up, so that's cool. We've got a Stinger transition featuring Santa for $7.70. A bunch of emotes there as well, badges, overlays, the music as well. So, there's all kinds of things. And again, this is just one example, and I know there are a whole bunch of things out there, so you can certainly shop around and have a look at those and see what might make sense for you. But again, I think it's important. Well, I was going to say I think it's important. I think it's worthwhile sort of thinking about whether, you know, the additional holiday content is actually still relevant to your audience, or if it's just sort of a community building exercise. And either is fine, but I think it is worthwhile sort of being aware of that as you move forward. Saeed is saying helpfully that you can even filter by free stuff. So let me share that again, and we will just we'll do that as well. So I can filter by free stuff somewhere. How can I do that, Saeed? I probably have to go into one of these options, I'm assuming. So if I go show all, no, I'm not seeing any filter options. So maybe I'm missing something.
All free stuff. No,
I mean, there are free things in here, but
toward the left. Yeah, it looked like they were all together for a start, but not exactly.
Yeah.
It's all that guy though.
Yes, yeah. So that guy from Stream Fog. I mean, that's free. Okay, so here we go. To set this alert to trigger automatically with each new community edition, or manage manually for the personalized touch using Stream Fog or Elgato's Stream Deck. You know what? I'm going to add this, and we're going to have a play with it.
All right.
So we're going to do that. I mean, it's nothing like just making stuff up in real time, but let's. I'll turn that off for a second. We'll get back into the chat. And again, this falls under the category of you're old when, but Business Growth Ready Ride Streamweaver for HTML websites has got better over the years. However, been using since 1997 Macromedia days. Yeah. And even like Flash before Adobe brought that. It was a whole thing, but anyway. All right, so I clicked the download button. Did anything actually happen here? It is, okay, it's physically downloading something. So in this case, I'm kind of used to downloading plugins, but this is actually a whole bunch of different, in fact, let me show you. Screen share, full screen. I need to make a button that does both of those together, but that's all right. So essentially, we've got a whole bunch of different icons here. Let me just go up a level. It's not going to let me do that. I will just create something in here. New folder. All right. So essentially, we've got a background, we've got a foreground, and they're both WebM files. So I can bring those into OBS quickly enough. So there you go. You can see one of those in action. So it'd be very easy to add that to your stream, and whether you want to actually trigger it via the chat. And I'm assuming that's got a transparent background, but what I'm going to do, we'll go back to side by side. I'm just going to, for argument's sake, I'm going to add this one in here as a media source. And just, I realize I'm not sharing this, but I'll just talk you through it conceptually. I'm just going to go and find this as a video. It actually does have sound. I'm probably not really set up to share that sound with you right now, but I'm going to bring it in, and it's probably going to play automatically anyway. There we go. So that's literally a free little animation with sound. And I don't know, because I literally just add that in real time, which is probably not what you should be doing. So it looks like that sound probably did go out to the stream as well. So, there are resources. And again, like, you don't necessarily need to make your entire content about Christmas, but maybe a couple of those flourishes, especially if it is sort of of the moment thing. It can be really nice. Can add a little extra dimension, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's really fun. It looked like I froze for a second. Is that what happened?
I know I can still see you. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's really fun. I think something that occurred to me is I said earlier that, it's the time of year where a lot of people will actually take off to go spend time with their families. And if you're not somebody who, is going to jump on that to do more streaming or more videos, like you want to go take off and hang out with your family, then you should be trying to find something to pre-plan to fill in that gap, whether it's putting out extra videos to schedule in advance, or some kind of playlist to run on your stream with maybe some quick holiday segments to tie it together to make it seasonal, like, yeah, you should consider doing that so that you don't just drop off for, 3 weeks.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess that's the thing. I don't think people always think about. There are probably two different types of people in the world: those that plan religiously and those that just improvise stuff. But I mean, there are all kinds of opportunities, and especially if we think about YouTube, for example, you can upload and schedule videos. You can also schedule those community tab posts as well. So I know that's something that Sam's been very into lately.
I have community posts scheduled to July.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there are all kinds of opportunities, and I think sometimes like it can be really nice to just take a moment for yourself, whether you're a creator or whether you're a consumer, to just take a bit of time out of the family and just do your own thing. Again, that's very much the introvert in me speaking. I just physically need that at some point during the day. But also, if you find yourself on Christmas Day and you have a shiny new Stream Deck or a pedal or a camera or something and you want to share that with people, like, you could very easily sort of go live for even just a little 15, 20 minutes. That could be a really cool thing to keep people engaged as well. So, and I think, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I think it's really important to thank the people that show up to your content. And I mean, obviously, it's so weird because I feel like I've only known Seed for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months, but like he's like the long lost friend I didn't know I was missing. And he always shows up to this show in particular, even when, it's ridiculously late or early in Germany. And we really appreciate that. And I think the trap of social media in some ways is you're always looking at the like numbers and subscriber numbers and stuff, but that stuff is not important. It's who's actually in your community, who shows up and supports you, and who you can support. And I think really take a moment to thank those people, especially over the next week.
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Mind you, that said, his next comment feels like fighting words, but the holidays are a great time to tidy up, organize files, clean up desks, manage cables, etc. And it's one of those things. I really like my setup, but I never show anybody because the cabling situation is just diabolical. And I wiped off the dust of my Rodecaster during the week, and I was so scared that I would break something because it'd been so long. And I'm like, maybe some of these settings are, physically stuck down at this point in time. But it was fine. But no, I definitely need to do a bit of cable management. And I think we need some, I don't know if you know anybody, Sam, and I know I'm sure I've said this before, but if you know anyone who's a cable management expert that we could maybe get onto the show to talk to us about this, because this is the place that I just suck at so badly. I've just got cables everywhere. I've actually got a huge desk, but it is literally covered with cables everywhere. And I see cable ties and different things, and I think I just don't even know where to start. All right, and Business Growth Ready is applauding something there, and I'm not really sure which of those sentiments it was. But yes, thank you, everybody. And I genuinely do mean that. I know there are lots of things you could be doing with your time. The fact that some of you show up here most weeks is really, really lovely. And, the thing about content creation is it can be a pretty loveless, thankless task some weeks. And the fact that people show up is just really wonderful. And I feel like I'm just rattling on at this point in time, Sam. So what I might get you to do, and we'll get some closing thoughts from you in a second, but if people want to learn more about you, watch your content, follow you on social media, all of the things, where can they go?
Yeah, head over to samproof.tv. You can find all my social links at the top left there. And I'm going to see if I can't just muster myself to actually make a holiday blog that has some free stuff for OBS in it. We'll see. Don't hold me to that. We'll try. And if I can't get that going and you need more cats in your life, head over to cuteavalanche.com. We have a 24/7 kitten cam that's always running on your favorite platform, whatever it is. And we'll wait for December to see that Christmas overlay. It'll start December 1st.
Nice. And if you want to catch up with me, you can head over to johnlacey.com. I've got the podcast, a bunch of articles, and there are social links at the bottom of those pages. And I must admit, I've been hanging out a little bit more regularly at Blue Sky, and they've done this great thing where you
Me
can
too.
actually use your website domain as your username. And that is so fun. And I did that for johnlacey.com. So if you want to find me on Blue Sky, look up johnlacey.com, and there I will be. But it's been a lot of fun. And I think the other thing I do want to say is that go out and check Seed YouTube channel as well, the Facilitator, because he did a bit of Stream Deck training with me recently, and it was really, really cool, and he's releasing some content about that. So I'm just going to put a chat message in the chat. So if you are on the Learn Live Streaming channel, you can see that as well. Business Growth Ready writes, Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams, wires, power and cable and power and audio cables if possible when sorting out wires. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and again, you can check out Saeed over there at youtube.com/@thefacilitator. But have a great week, everybody. Like I said, don't get too carried away with those Black Friday sales. But if there is something that you're interested in purchasing, and you can afford to do so, I say treat yourself. And on that note, have a great week and a great weekend, and we will talk to you again very, very soon.